Hello there. These are interesting times for the UK investing industry. The US-based asset manager Vanguard recently announced the launch of a new online service to sell its funds directly to consumers. Vanguard, which charges an average annual management fee of 0.14% of invested assets, is offering its funds to investors for an annual administration charge of 0.15%. I've been speaking to Jason Butler. Jason is the founder of Bloomsbury Wealth Management. He's now a fintech entrepreneur and writer. I started by asking him what he makes of Vanguard's latest move.
Vanguard coming to the UK to make their funds available now direct to consumers, I think is just a fantastic development. I'm really excited and I've already moved all my ISAs over to them, and once they've got a low-cost SIP, I'll be moving that as well. So I think it's exciting.
What then does Vanguard's new offering mean for the investing industry? Well, Jason thinks there are three groups that ought to be worried.
Firstly, it's the new entrant digital DFMs, discretionary fund management firms, that do not provide advice, don't provide planning, and are charging quite a lot, between 70 basis points to 100 basis points for a painting by numbers investment solution. So they need to be worried, because why would you buy from them when you can buy, if you're not going to get advice or a plan, when you can go to Vanguard and pay 22 basis points and do it all online pretty simply. Another group that needs to be worried is the old sort of stuffy old private bank that's charging, you know, a couple of % a year, not doing really proper planning. You've got someone with a nice double-barreled name and a nice accent, very nice offices, for managing your money. Well, there's a lot of high net worth people who really don't want that. So they're not going to get proper relationship-based, goal-driven planning and coordination of their affairs, and they may as well get rid of Squiffy & Co. and get Vanguard in. And then the third group, and this is a double-edged sword, is the financial advisor who has been hiding behind investment management as their core proposition, and they may or may not be doing a bit of planning, but it's primarily financial advising, really sort of hiding behind the investment, charging 1% plus the cost of the funds and the platform, with model portfolios, which quite frankly, who's interested? They have a problem, but they also have an opportunity. Now, the opportunity for that financial advisor is to ensure that they really are providing very relevant and personalised planning, support and help for those clients, probably for a subscription or a fixed fee basis, or possibly a much lower ad valorem fee, you know, a percentage-based fee. But there's an opportunity for them to reinsert themselves into the value chain.
So specifically on advisors, Jason's clear on one thing. Many firms will need to review their business models. That'll require time, effort and financial resource. So does he expect firms to make that investment?
Well, younger advisors under 35, and I do have a bit of connection with people, you know, younger advisors coming through, they seem to be generally very pleased about it, and it seems to take away a big problem for them because they're already charging subscription-based planning. They're charging a subscription basis for a proper planning service, and they actually see the investing as a problem, not a source of revenue or a source of differentiation. So they don't. I think they just think this is just like having computers. It's just a thing that you have. So they see that as a positive. You've got others that have got their own model portfolios and think, well, okay, this is of interest, but it doesn't really affect our business. But we're not, you know, we're agnostic about it. You know, they don't have a view either way. And then you have a group of advisors who are kind of in denial. They still want to keep with the gas lamp, yet electrics come to town. So unless there's a power cut, I'm not sure that they're going to need those gas lamps. And they're a bit like sort of like years ago when before commission reform came into the UK, and as fiduciary rules are changing in the States, and as the commission in Australia some years ago, they're in denial until they can't be in denial anymore.
So one final question. How does Jason see the wider UK investing industry developing over the next few years?
My best guess is that Vanguard will eventually produce some form of financial planning light type service, even if it's not advice, like in the UK as they do in the States, and they'll be producing it in all major markets over time. That's inevitable. That's not going to be right for every client, and not every person's going to want that kind of service, because that's predominantly going to be video based and so on. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not going to suit everyone. There's going to be a whole group of advisors who really need to sort of perhaps accelerate their retirement needs, and they will accelerate their retirement needs, but they won't sell their firm for anything like they think they will, because the best has been, and they don't. Their firms have some value, but nothing like the value they had. So there will be a head for the exit, I think. And there will be, I think, a group of firms that will adapt, but almost certainly they'll have to be part of a larger firm, or they'll have to be part of a really good affiliation or network or some description that has a real, the components are very similar. So there has to be either affinity groups or larger businesses that can invest in the technology, the staff, the marketing, and the customer experience, which will be beyond geography. It won't just be about face-to-face, in person. It will be personalised, and I think there's a big opportunity there for them.
That's it. Thank you to Jason Butler and to you for watching. Goodbye.
For investors, there's never been greater access to information, and the financial media is as distracting as ever. Regis Media helps advisors produce great content, whether that's video, podcasts, graphics, animation, or written articles. It's about educating your clients and being transparent about how you put their money to work. Let's help investors tune out the noise and focus on what's really important.